Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome all to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're reading from Adi Lila at the moment. We are on chapter 3, verse 29. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Deentarinam Paramananda Madhvam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat. Thinking thus, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself, descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Purport: the Pratham Sandhya is the beginning of the age according to the astronomical calculation. The age is divided into 12 parts. The first of these 12 divisions is known as the Pratham Sandhya. The Pratham Sandhya and Shesh Sandhya, the last division of the preceding age, form the junction of the two ages. According to Surya Siddhanta, the Pratham Sandhya of Kali Yuga lasts 36,000 solar years. Lord Chaitanya appeared in the Pratham Sandhya after 4,586 solar years of Kali Yuga had passed. Verse 30. Thus the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadvip. He has the shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and the loud voice of a lion. Verse 31. May that lion be seated in the core of the heart of every living being. Thus with his resounding roar may he drive away one's elephantine vices. Verse 32. In his early pastimes he is known as Vishwambhar because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. Verse 34. In his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Sri Krishna. Purport: Lord Chaitanya remained a householder only until his 24th year had passed. Then he entered the renounced order and remained manifest in this material world until his 48th year. Therefore, his Shesh Leela, or the final portion of his activities, lasted 24 years. Some so-called Vaishnavas say that the renounced order of life was not accepted in the Vaishnav Sampradaya or disciplic succession until Lord Chaitanya. This is not a very intelligent proposition. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the sannyas order from Shripad Keshav Bharati, who belonged to the Shankar sect, which approves of only 10 names for sannyasis. Long before the order existed in the Vaishnav line of Vishnu Swami. In the Vishnu Swami Vaishnav Sampradaya, there are 10 different kinds of sannyas names and 108 different names for sannyasis who accept the three danda, the triple staff of sannyas. This is approved by the Vedic rules. Therefore, Vaishnav sannyas was existent even before the appearance of Shankaracharya, although those who know nothing about the Vaishnav sannyas unnecessarily declare that there is no sannyas in the Vaishnav Sampradaya. During the time of Lord Chaitanya, the influence of Shankaracharya in society was very strong. People thought that one could accept sannyas only in the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya. Lord Chaitanya could have performed his missionary activities as a householder, but he found householder life an obstruction to his mission. Therefore, he decided to accept the renounced order sannyas. Since his acceptance of sannyas was also designed to attract public attention, Lord Chaitanya, not wishing to disturb the social convention, took the renounced order of life from a sannyasi in the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya. Although sannyas was also sanctioned in the Vaishnav Sampradaya, in the Shankar Sampradaya there are 10 different names awarded to sannyasis: Tirtha, Ashram, Vana, Aranya, Giri, Parvat, Sagar, Saraswati, Bharati and Puri. Before one enters sannyas, he has one of the various names for a brahmachari, the assistant to a sannyasi. Sannyasis with the title Tirth and Ashram generally stay at Dwarka and their brahmachari name is Swarup. Those known by the names Vana and Aranya stay at Purushottam or Jagannath Puri, and their brahmachari name is Prakash. Those with the names Giri, Parvat and Sagar generally stay at Badrikashram, and their brahmachari name is Anand. Those with the titles Saraswati, Bharati and Puri usually live at Sringeri in South India, and their brahmachari name is Chaitanya. Sripad Shankaracharya established 4 monasteries in India in the 4 directions, north, south, east and west, and he entrusted them to 4 sannyasis who were his disciples. Now there are hundreds of branch monasteries under these 4 principal monasteries, and although there is an official symmetry among them, there are many differences in their dealings. The 4 different sects of these monasteries are known as Anandvara, Bhogavar, Kittivar and Bhumivar, and in course of time they have developed different ideas and different slogans. According to the regulation of the disciplic succession, one who wishes to enter the renounced order in Shankar's sect must be trained as a brahmachari under the bona fide sannyasi. The brahmachari name is ascertained according to the group to which the sannyasi belongs. Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyas from Keshav Bharati. When he first approached Keshav Bharati, he was accepted as a brahmachari with the name Shri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmachari. After he took sannyas, he preferred to keep the name Krishna Chaitanya. The great authorities in the disciplic succession had not offered to explain why Lord Chaitanya refused to take the name Bharati after he took sannyas from a Bharati. Until Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj volunteered the explanation that because a sannyasi in the Shankar Sampradaya thinks that he has become the supreme, Lord Chaitanya, wanting to avoid such a misconception, kept the name Shri Krishna Chaitanya, placing himself as an eternal servitor. A brahmachari is supposed to serve the spiritual master, therefore he did not negate the relationship of servitude to his spiritual master. Accepting such a position is favorable for the relationship between the disciple and the spiritual master. The authentic biographies also mention that Lord Chaitanya accepted the danda or the rod and begging pot, symbolic of the sannyas order, at the time he took sannyas. Verse 35, knowing him, Lord Chaitanya, to be the incarnation for Kali Yuga, Garg Muni during the naming ceremony of Krishna predicted his appearance. Verse 36, this boy Krishna has 3 colors, white, red and yellow, as he appears in different ages. Now he has appeared in a transcendental blackish color. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.8.13, verse 37. White, red and yellow, these are the 3 bodily lustres that the Lord, the husband of the goddess of fortune, assumes in the ages of Satya, Treta and Kali. Verse 38, now in the Dwapar Yuga, the Lord has descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements in the Purans and other Vedic literatures with reference to the context. Verse 39, in the Dwapar Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow, he holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with the Kaustubh jewel and marks of Srivatsa. This is how his symptoms are described. Purport, this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.27, spoken by Saint Karabhajan, one of the 9 royal mystics who explained to King Nimi the different features of the Lord in different ages. Verse 40, the religious practice for the age of Kali is to broadcast the glories of the holy name. Only for this purpose has the Lord in a yellow color descended as Lord Chaitanya. Purport: in this age of Kali, the practical system of religion for everyone is the chanting of the name of the Godhead. This was introduced in this age by Lord Sri Chaitanya. Bhakti Yoga actually begins with the chanting of the holy name as confirmed by Madhvacharya in his commentary on the Mundak Upanishad. He quotes this verse from the Narayan Samhita. Dva Pariyer Janair Vishnu Pancharatraye Stu Kevalah Kalo Tu Nam Matrena Pujyate Bhagwan Harihi. In the Dwapar Yuga, people should worship Lord Vishnu only by the regulative principles of the Narad Pancharatra and other such authorized books. In the age of Kali, however, people should simply chant the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Hare Krishna mantra is specifically mentioned in many Upanishads such as Kali Sanatarana Upanishad, where it is said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Iti Shodakshakam Iti Shodakshakam Nam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Nataha Para Taropayah Sarvedeshu Drishyate. After searching through all the Vedic literature, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for this age than the chanting of Hare Krishna. Verse 41. The luster of his expansive body resembles molten gold. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thundering of the newly assembled clouds. Verse 42. One who measures 4 cubits in height and in breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality. Verse 43. Such a person is called Nyagrodha Parimandala. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has the body of a Nyagrodha Parimandala. Purport: no one other than the Supreme Lord himself, who has engaged the conditioned souls by his own illusory energy, can possess these bodily features. These features certainly indicate an incarnation of Vishnu and no one else. Verse 44. His arms are long enough to reach his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like sesame flower. And his face is as beautiful as the moon. Verse 45. He is peaceful, self-controlled, and fully devoted to the transcendental service of the Lord Sri Krishna. He is affectionate towards his devotee. He is gentle and equally disposed toward all other living beings. Verse 46. He is decorated with sandalwood bangles and armlets and anointed with the pulp of sandalwood. He especially wears these decorations to dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Verse 47. Recording all these qualities of Lord Chaitanya, the sage Vaishampayan included his name in the Vishnu Sahasranama. The pastime of Lord Chaitanya have 2 divisions: the early pastimes Adi Lila and the later pastimes Shesh Lila. He has 4 names in each of these Leelas. So we'll continue from here onwards next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.